Hello and welcome to Wildfire Tribe Happy Hour. It is an hour of happiness coming to you live from Wildfire Tribe Studios somewhere in Australia.
Yes, it is in this hidden location. We're in this wild bunker of Wildfire Tribeness. What a crazy week you've had.
So for those of you that are joining us now live, please join in the conversation. Type in wherever you're watching, type in there so we can see your comments. We can put them up. We can answer questions. We can talk about topics that you want us to talk about. The idea is that it's interactive, so let's make it interactive. Give thumbs up, hearts, share it with other people, all of those things. It really helps to get this out to the world so other people see it as well if you interact with it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is your weekly happy injection. I'll do the laughing, honey, and you can tell the jokes. So it's been interesting. You haven't been here all week. You literally have just arrived back in the studios like an hour ago.
That's right. And I've arrived here for happy hour, and it's not very happy because you haven't done anything. The light's not working. The microphone's not working. You turn everything on, 3 minutes to go, and nothing's working. And I've been away for an entire week, and it's just exactly the same. I don't understand.
Well, tell us about your week.
Well, I've been riding motorbikes, Kylie, all around the state of New South Wales.
So we were expecting that you would land back here and be so happy after your weekend away or your week away that there would be no room left in the atmosphere of Wildfire Tribe Studios for anything other than absolute happiness.
I was happy, Kylie, when I was riding my motorbike.
So tell us, like, did you hit any birds? Did you get bitten by any bees?
Bees don't bite you, Kylie. They sting. Bees don't have mouths and bite you.
So did you have any God encounters when you were riding?
Yes, Kylie, God is in us and we're in him at all times. There's no separation anymore. So, of course, I had God encounters the whole time. Thank you, Sam. Sounding good and looking great, guys. Thank you. Hello, Roseanne. Thank you for joining us on Wildfire Tribe Happy Hour. I am actually happy. I'm just a bit tired, I suppose. I shouldn't be. I just rode on and off for about 12 hours today, and I'm not used to riding that much at the moment. So it takes its toll, but it was a good time away. I was away for a week and visited, I don't know how many people. I took photos of every single person that I met with that I had known from my past until about the last couple of days, and it just got too overwhelming. There was too many people. So I'll put some of those photos up in the next couple of days just to get a rough idea of how many people I actually saw and the coffees that I had and the orange juices. I paid $8 for an orange juice the other day at a cafe.
That's awesome. I love it. It's great. That means that cafe is probably going to stay open. Yeah, I love it.
Well, unfortunately, I just had a coffee at a different cafe with somebody else when I went to this cafe, and I was a bit coffeeed out. So I went with the little skinny orange juice, and they said $8. Wow. Yep, that's true. You do have to make money. Businesses do have to charge a good amount of money to stay open, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, that's just one of those things when we travel around, we need to just be grateful that we can and grateful that there are people there willing to dedicate their lives to serving us in some of these spaces, to making coffees and doing sandwiches and stuff. All of us know, of course, if we want to save a few, bucks here or there, of course, it's probably cheaper to go to the supermarket and go home. But there are people out there that have invested their dreams into these places. And, we need to champion those people that are putting it all out there and making these people need to make sure they charge the right prices so that they can stay open, because small business is not easy.
Okay, so it's called Happy Hour and it's real conversations about mystical things. There's nothing very mystical happening so far, Kylie, with the price of orange juice and the price of coffee. So you must have a topic to talk about, or if you're watching, Roseanne, why don't you throw in a topic or ask us a question and we can talk about that, or somebody else that's watching, and we can expand upon that so we get away from the price of orange juice at the cafe.
It's a very nomad conversation.
A nomad.
Yes, well, I thought I'd start off today by reading a post that a friend of ours posted on his Facebook page, and I liked it, so I'm just going to read it. And
Right.
this is a friend of ours called Luke Agee, and he's a pretty awesome guy. He's from the States, and he does all kinds of crazy, amazing
He's
stuff.
got a book about immortality.
Yeah, he does. It's called Immortality, isn't it?
I can't remember what it's called. I've read it, but I'll just type up his name here so people can see. They can search him on Facebook or anywhere you like. Yeah, he does have a book about immortality. He's one of 3 people that I know that writes about immortality at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's a definitely a topic that lots of people are talking about. That space of the limitless capacity that our body has, and our spirit has. But yeah, what does that mean for us and our lives? Anyway, I will read this post. It says, "Did you know that when Jesus said he was the way, the truth, and the life, that he was referring to how he is the tabernacle of God? The 3 entryways in the temple of the Jewish religious were titled as such. The door of the outer court was called the way, the door of the inner court was called the truth, and the door of the Holy of Holies was called the life." So this is why they knew exactly what Jesus meant, and it made the religious people indignant and violently angry when he called himself those titles. He was telling them that he was the fulfillment and heavenly reality of what they knew as their temple of worship in the earth. This is why it struck them as blasphemous. They didn't recognize him as the one who was the fulfillment of it all. Now he has made us his tabernacle and temple, and therefore the way, the truth, and the life dwells within us bodily. It's pretty cool, hey? And I thought it was interesting too, like I was imagining those people, like how he says it made the religious people indignant and violently angry when he called himself those titles. Like people just don't like it, do they? If we, they didn't like it when Jesus did it, when he was like so closely associating himself with God. And I don't think people like it when we do it either. When people think, oh, like you're trying to turn yourself into an idol, or oh, you're like, but we're his sons and daughters. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, I wasn't really listening to what you were saying. I was just thinking about riding my motorbike. I feel like I'm a bit seasick. You know how when you get off a boat and everything's still moving?
Yeah.
I feel like everything's still moving. I asked Roseanne there before to introduce the topic, and she said, sure, Sean, here it is here. I heard this morning you have to leave what you know to find out what you don't. That's very topical, Roseanne, for us as well, because that is certainly the case for what God's asked us to do over the last few years, is to drop everything we've ever known and to pick up things that we've never done before. And it's a very difficult thing to do, because the safest thing that you can do is to do the things that you've always done. The easiest thing to do is the things that you've been taught how to do, that you've learned how to do, that you've done all your life. But it's not necessarily what God has packaged up for everybody throughout their whole lives, and it's certainly not for us. So it is true for us as well. That's part of the reason why we're on here now. This is something relatively new for us. We also have a podcast. We do many other things online as well as Zooms all around the world, day and night, all sorts of different things, and it's all relatively new for us, and everything is a learning curve. So even the camera that we've got now, which is just there, that's not down there anymore. Every time we try something different, we have to learn how to use it, and it's fun. I believe God's built me for the road less traveled. I think that He's put in us the ability to adapt. He's put in us the adventure package. We've signed up for the adventure package in life, and we very quickly get to a stage when we do things where we want to do something different. And we used to think that was a problem, that there was something wrong with us. And a lot of people have suggested that, you keep on moving, you do different jobs, can't you stay in one place? What's wrong with you? You should settle down, you should get serious, all of those things. We've tried to do that, but that's not the package that we've signed up for.
And I think the beauty of it is more and more we're embracing the creativity within ourselves. So I know for me, I'm an author. I'm also a songwriter and a musician. I'm also an artist. I'm also a graphic designer, and I'm also do a lot of things on my computer, like creating things and doing admin and doing all those kind of things. Like there's space to be chopping and changing all the time, because each piece of this makes up the fullness of who I am. And I think a lot of people are like that. We have different, I also like, spending time in the garden. I like nurturing my plants. I like, cooking food for my family. And there's so many.
You don't like cooking food for us.
Yeah, like I don't not like it. Like I'd like to not have to do it so regularly. But yeah, I've learned over the years that to really love that place, because I'd be a pretty miserable person if I didn't learn to like cooking.
You'd be thinner.
I'd be thinner, you think?
All of us would be thinner.
I think we do all right, though. I try to be really healthy and
that's a lovely thing to say, Roseanne. Thank you. You're lovely. You sent me a message there before as well, and thank you very much. Sometimes it's very timely to get a nice message from somebody that you're not expecting, so thank you so much. And there's another kind message. You guys are constantly amazing me in the grace to be flexible. We've learnt, I don't have a business card, and this is something that I tell lots of different people. I don't have a business card, but if I did have one, I would have the letters STC after my name, and that stands for subject to change, because everything for us is subject to change. Everything that we start doing at some stage down the line, it seems like we don't get to do it for very long. There's things we want to go to that we don't get to go to, all of those sorts of things. So we've just learnt to be subject to change, and that way you can maintain a level of joy at all times when you're just flexible. If you are adamant and kick up a stink and cry and whinge and moan all of the time when something doesn't go according to plan, then it's pretty miserable to be around those people. And I, as much as I'm probably not the most bubbly person like Kylie, I'm much easier going than I used to be.
And I think, it comes from that place too, like when you realize that the mystical journey, and we are having mystical conversations, it's all in. So it's like it's the being immersed in the mysterious walk with God, so that we are always in. So that means like every single thing that we're doing, we can be doing it out of that place of joy and out of that place of love and out of those frequencies.
Hello, Claudia.
Yeah.
Where's Claudia from?
Claudia, yes, she's from the States.
And
she's
hello,
from California.
Paulie. Hello,
Paulie.
Okay, so where do I get some of those glasses?
Our glasses are sponsored by sunnies.com.au.
Sunnies, SUNN. I'll type it up there.
Yeah.
Sunnies.com.au is where you get them from, or you can just send me $129.99 to my bank account, and I'll get you a pair. Paulie, I was out near your place this morning. Yeah, actually this morning. So I rode from a neighbouring house of yours all the way to where we are today on my motorbike. It was actually it's quite cool this morning out your way. I had heated hand grips on my motorbike, and I was very grateful for having them. So next time, if I'm in the area for a bit longer, mate, I'll sing out, and if you're still living there, and we'll have a cup of tea.
Sounds so good. Wow, there's so many cool people on. Hi, California. Yeah, so good. Yeah, Claudia is beautiful.
Is
So
that
many
live from California? I wonder what the time is there. So it's 8 p.m. or thereabouts.
I think it's probably in the
our time?
like in mid-afternoon
In mid-afternoon.
yesterday. Would that be right?
How wild is that? Australia is ahead.
I know. We're ahead of the whole world.
Yeah. So everything happens here first.
Yeah.
We have like the New Year's Eve fireworks
Yeah. That's quite prophetic, honey.
first. So for anybody that's tuning in from other parts of the world, welcome to yesterday. Oh, it's 1:21 a.m. My goodness.
In California.
Wow.
Oh, wow. AM. It's 1:21 a.m. Wow.
So you are in Monday as well. Yeah, just wow. 1:20 a.m. in the morning. Goodness. That's dedication. Thank you for listening to us, Claudia. Feel free, anybody that's listening live, to ask questions, interact with us. We like to interact with people. We also do a podcast where we don't interact with people. We just speak in the little microphones, and that's kind of odd. I do like actually talking to people. So this is a little bit closer to the real thing. So, interact, ask questions. Kylie will answer any questions that you have.
With all of my fountains of wisdom.
Mm.
So, I was just thinking too.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, everything's changed.
Oh, no.
There we go.
Okay.
I'll get to say it to you this time. Just keep talking.
I've done all the talking so far. Hello, Helen. Hello. Oh, yeah. No, that's Roseanne. Thank you for interacting. Thank you for typing. We get to see them come up on our screen. And we can also, it's that fancy, we can actually like flick it up there onto the screen too. Hello, Helen. Welcome to Happy Hour. Have you got a comment beyond hello for us? A question for Kylie? Ask her something really, really difficult that'll stump her. Or just interact. Fire off some love hearts. Fire off some thumbs. Share this with other people. It just helps for all of the things that we are involved in, moving it up and making it more recognizable for others if you do that. So what have you got, Kylie? You've got your book?
Have you heard anything? Yeah, that's. I don't know if you have it. Have you read it?
Yeah, I've read your book.
What did you think?
Yeah, it's a good book. It was. I read it in one afternoon, so I read it in about 4 or 5 hours, I think, sort of straight through. It's easy to read. It has a lot of texture in it. It has a lot of wisdom in it, and has a lot of wild, adventurous, courageous stories too. It's a slice of your life, and obviously I also appear in parts of it, and it was interesting to read about me as well and what I've been up to. I don't remember all of the book.
I love it. I don't remember all of it either, and I wrote it.
What age group are we targeting? I think that's what that question is. What age group were you, maybe for your book, what age group were you targeting?
I didn't have an age group.
Or is it for the Facebook Live, you mean? And the answer to both of those things, whether it's the book or Facebook Live, is not a specific age group.
We're
at all.
ageless.
Yeah.
We're the immortal ones. So we're like just speaking to all those who want to listen.
I think with this Facebook, we are aware that, so Helen's actually asking about the book, but I'll talk about the Facebook. The Facebook, what we do here on Facebook, we are aware, obviously, that people from our current friends, our current family, people that we've known in our life before, they're our circle of Facebook friends. So we are, aware of basically the people that we think that we're talking to, but it also stays recorded after you do it. So it actually goes onto YouTube and it stays on Facebook, so people can watch this forever later on as well. So it's whoever you want to share it with. It's not necessarily limited to any age group or even targeted, and it's probably the same for the book. Do you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. Well, I think probably the demographic is maybe 25 5 to like the how can you even put, like, there's been young people read it and loved it, and there's been like older people read it and love it. Like,
So
how
25
there
to
isn't
about
any
250.
yeah, and you like teenagers could read it as well.
It's
Like,
an easy read.
yeah.
And it's I think it's
and
relatable.
it's practical because it gives people little gems and keys that they can apply to their life, and it tells you how to activate things, like things that are really practical.
Is that an actual word, Roseanne?
Like-
Kylie's
like
writing
this one.
style is mesmerical. If Roseanne said it's a word, it must be a word.
I love it. Well, I'll read you this one activation for
Mhm.
an example. Okay. So my revelation on this topic, and this is finding your bliss. So it's finding that place of like sweetness. And I'm referring to that place of sweetness when I'm talking in the book about that God is a God of pleasure. So we're imagining like he longs for each one of us to experience this wine barrel bliss, which is like this drunken bliss, this love place. Like, so it's like he that love that is intoxicating. So I say in this activation, I say, choose something that you love. If it's cheesecake, for example, as you slowly eat it, imagine that you're surrounded by joy and warmth and love. Picture yourself being loved and being hugged. And as you do this, say, I am in him and he is in me. And I am in him and he is in me. And I usually, when I'm saying this, I end up smiling. Because it's very hard to say that too many times without smiling. And then I end up feeling like this embrace, feeling his arms around me and feeling a little blissed out. So I can just do all of that in my mind, or I can do that as I'm actually, if you need something tangible and physical to actually, activate that for you, that piece of cheesecake or that, that just that space, that place in nature, or everybody's got their thing, their place that they can go to, and you can actually feel a little blissed, a little drunk, and you can do this just on chocolate brownies, cheesecake, a glass of milk.
So you don't even have to drink.
You don't, no.
Mm.
And I think that, we are created to be intoxicated on the wine of his love, which is this wine that pours out from the center of our being if we will allow ourselves to go into that place where we're immersed in our Creator's love. And it is a drunken feeling, like you feel drunk.
Yes, I certainly know what that feels like, Kylie. I'm just noticing that my nose is really red. You get a red nose when you're drunk.
You might have got it sunburnt riding on your motorbike.
Yeah. Hello, Tracy.
Hey, hello,
Tracy Richard says hi.
Tracy
Sean.
loves motorbikes too.
And she also says, hi, Kylie, see you next time. Yeah, because I saw Tracy yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was on my motorbike, and she loves motorbikes too. So I just rode today. I don't know how far it would be. I went the long way. I went a much longer way than I needed to go. I reckon I did about 700 or 800 Ks today. So that's probably why I've got a red nose.
That's a lot of Ks.
Yeah, but I was on a motorbike.
Well, we can call you Rudolph tonight.
Yeah, you could.
I'm feeling like you might give me a dead arm if I do.
Probably. What's probably? Tracy says, was a good surprise to see. It was a good surprise to see you too, Tracy. And it was a good, because it was actually a bit of a surprise for me, because I wasn't necessarily planning to go to that town either. I sort of just at the last minute decided to go there. And so everybody that I saw, it was really cool to run into people. And so next time I'm out that way, I'll see some more, hopefully including you, Paulie, if you're still out there. Maybe you'll have your glasses by then.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
So the red nose. Yeah, Rudolph. Yeah.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose like a light bulb.
I think I saw in the space of a couple of hours of being out there at that town, I reckon I would have seen 20 people that I knew.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. That's what happens when you move around a lot, Kylie. How many times have we moved?
27 times in 30 years.
Roseanne, what does Roseanne say? The delight. I'm going to put it up on the screen and read it. Yes, the delight is very evident in your expressions in the bliss. You actually launch us on the journey into the bliss. It's a book that helps anchor and bring me back to home base after a busy day or a desire to be back into the zone with Papa. Wow.
That's so cool.
That's beautiful, Roseanne.
That's the new now.
That's the book. And
look, it's like really skinny people, so it's not hard for even people that don't read much to read.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to read it again, and I think next year you're doing something with that.
So
book,
next year on our Patreon, we will be walking through this, the new now, and I will be walking through this chapter by chapter with everybody, all our patrons on Patreon, and we will be doing a live every month. And we will just be, I'll be expanding on some of the things that I speak about in there. And also we can just do that journey together. So it will be really exciting. And that's for any of our paid members on Patreon. And you can jump on our Patreon page for any amount.
Any amount, like 20 cents?
Oh, well, I think Patreon has a minimum that they want.
How much?
Like maybe $5 or.
Well, it's not any amount then, is it? It's $5.
Or anyway, you can go in and there's a little thing and it has, you can
How
just
do they
type
find
it in.
that information?
Depends on what country you're in, because all the dollar amounts that you type in will be different.
How does somebody that's listening to us right now or at a later date find that information?
So if you go to wildfiretribe.life, our website's on the bottom of the screen, and all of the details for the new now launching for our teaching next year is all on there, so you can jump on. We will be doing an introductory just toward Christmas, and where we'll be just jumping on, saying hi and just having a bit of an introduction, and then we'll be launching that every month from all the way through. So it will be a really transformational year. We're just wanting to activate people in their new now, and just walking with you as, you know, into the possibilities of what can be in your life, and the actual simplicity of what that can look like. And so it's going to be really cool.
And there's lots more information on our website, wildfiretribe.life. We have a podcast that's on Spotify and all of those other places where you listen to podcasts as well. There's about 50 of them that we've done now, 40 odd or 50 odd, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's always other things that we're working on that pop up on that website as well. So there's a link to TikTok. There's a link to multiple other things as well that Kylie is working on, and I sometimes do. And we actually have another helper as well, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so that's awesome. Love it. Yeah.
So what else have you got, Kylie?
Well,
you're the happy person,
you're making me do all the talking.
It's happy hour and you're happy.
I'm just happy to have you home, honey. It's very nice to be joined by all of our friends. And
so what happens when you talk about motorbikes all of the time, or what happens when you talk about anything that you're interested in all of the time?
Well, what happens is that those things come towards you. So it's like the power of conversational attraction. So I think that when you're constantly surrounded by a certain narrative, then that narrative can find itself becoming a part of your everyday life.
The law of attraction.
Yeah.
I spoke to a person the other day in business in a cafe, and she actually consciously practices the laws of attraction. She engages with that to attract customers to her business.
Yes.
And so when I got home today on my motorbike, which is new to me, so I attracted a motorbike to me as well by talking about motorbikes all of the time.
Yes,
And when I got home, there is 2 other motorbikes here as well.
there is.
There's another motorbike that I also own, which was broken down before, which is at our house now.
Yeah,
And there's
that
also
got dropped here.
it's
Yeah,
got dropped
when
here.
you weren't even here.
And there's also another motorbike that somebody else owns
Yes.
that got dropped here when I wasn't here as well.
Because that person had a crash and then their bike ended up wanting to live at your house because your house is the place where motorbikes are loved.
So a few weeks ago, I had 0 motorbikes and I was talking about them every week. And now I've got 3.
And now you've got 3. It's crazy.
So if you want to bring your motorbike to my house, it will get ridden. Like if you've got a motorbike that's sitting around, the battery's going flat, the fuel's going off, and you just can't bear to sell it or give it away, just bring it here and leave it here. And I promise that I will ride it. I will just ride it around town. Or if it's a bigger bike, I'll take it for longer rides. I'll look after it and it can stay with my other bikes. There's plenty of room here.
You've got a little bike family now.
Mm,
It's very sweet. It's growing. You're nurturing it and it's growing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't think that it should be an issue to have at least 5 bikes.
No, well, all the different circumstances you
Yeah.
might need to find yourself riding in.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to get out the really giant, big on the road bike just to duck around the corner and pick up some milk.
Oh, look, Roseanne suggests that motorbikes would be a great Christmas gift. That's
Oh,
very
yes.
true, Roseanne.
Yeah.
I think Roseanne might actually be talking about the book.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Which you can get it online at all the online bookstores. You can get it everywhere.
Biker Babe Bliss. Yeah, Kylie is a biker babe full of bliss. She's been on the back of many motorbikes
Yes, I have. We've done lots of bike trips in our years.
and a trike one.
Yeah, that was got to be one of my favorites. Like with the whole family sitting on the back, really comfortable, sitting on a bench seat on the back of a bike. Pretty wild with one boy on each side. I remember holding both their heads like this when they would go to sleep, their helmets, holding their helmets.
I think that you probably need to explain that a bit better, Kylie, because that is very, like, people have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I think maybe next week I might like put some clips and stuff together and we can
Right.
share some of that stuff, like about our big trip. Because that was
Because some people on this screen would know and lots of people don't know. But
yeah.
in 2011, Kylie and myself and our 2 boys went all the way around the outside of Australia on a 3-wheel motorbike. And we're
Yeah.
the only 4 people to have ever done it.
Yes.
And so maybe that's something else you can work on when you're not doing anything, is put together a few clips
Yes.
so people can see what we're talking about, because you can't explain it, can you,
No.
until you see it.
Yeah.
But they could Google that, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Where would they find that?
Well, there's a YouTube channel called The Big Things Tour. And on the Big Things Tour page, there's like lots of footage and stuff.
So the big things in Australia.
Oh, we have a TikTok page too, The Big Things.
Yeah. If you're on TikTok or YouTube,
Yeah.
the Big Things Tour. The big things in Australia, there's big banana, pineapple, there's like hundreds of them. And so we based our tour around Australia on the big things on the 3-wheel motorbike when our kids were 8 and 10. So we'll have a look at that, and Kylie will work towards having something for next week so that you can have a better idea of what it looks like. Maybe we'll get a little clip or something made up.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do?
I'll do a little short one.
Hang on. What's Roseanne suggesting now? Sean, are you starting a Fun Bliss bike group for excursions? The answer is yes. Yes, that sounds like a great idea. Anything to do with bikes, I think it sounds like a great idea, Roseanne.
I love it.
I hadn't
So
planned that.
funny.
I do know we have a friend in common. His name is Gary. He lives in Queensland. And he, ever since he first heard me talk about my love of motorbikes, he's wanted to get one. So I think he would be up for that as well. Tracy says, bikes for Christmas. Yes, more bikes for Christmas. Trace, how many bikes have you got? I know you've got a Triumph. I know that's a pretty cool little bike. I've seen you ride that for years. Do you have other bikes on the go at the moment or not? I know Tracy's a pretty wild rider, actually. She's I went for a ride with her one day and couldn't keep up with her. Tracy says she's only got 2 bikes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not enough. So hopefully you get more bikes as well. And if you get more and there's not enough room at your place, bring them to my place.
I love it. Yeah, that's so cool. So tell me, surely you had a mystical God moment when you were riding through the forest or down the highway?
I don't know that it's very mystical, but I do feel like at the moment that God is whispering to me about judgment, about being judgmental.
Yeah, wow.
So I think at the moment it feels to me like it's just an awareness of something that he wants me to focus a little bit on. So when I look at somebody, when I have assumptions about people that I meet, etc., and I judge what I think is going on in their life, to be careful not to hold judgment. And I think I'm pretty good with it, but I really feel like that's something that he's highlighting for me at the moment is to, I guess, like for me at the moment, I'm trying to process when I see, for instance, when I was away, I heard about a 52-year-old person who I used to know who died just like a couple of days ago. And so I immediately think about people like that, and I think about the things that I think that they could have done with their life. I don't know whether other people think like that. And so immediately when I start to think like that, then I feel like I'm making a judgment call. I'm making a judgment on what they could have done. But I'm sort of also feel like I'm not necessarily like completely writing them off or anything, but I just feel like every thought that I process, I'm just working out with him to see where I sit with everything, So am I being judgmental? Am I making a judgment on somebody's life, or am I just processing that I just want to make sure that I live a life of abundance? I don't want to be left short. I don't want to, he was only 52, like I'm 52.
Yeah.
I just want to live my life in fullness, So when I hear people die that age, I wonder if I'm living a life of fullness. And I also look at the life that other people have lived, and I do make a judgment on whether they could have lived a more full life. But it's not really for me to make that judgment.
So what is a full life?
A full life, it's different for everyone, isn't it? Because I think, I don't just think, I believe that God created us all completely differently, all completely uniquely. So we're actually supposed to be completely different to each other and therefore lead very different lives to each other. So that judgment comes into place, I suppose, there when you look at somebody that's not leading the same life as you go, well, hang on, have they got it right? Have they got it wrong? Are they, all those questions that you have. A life of abundance for me is opportunities, pursuing opportunities. When doors open, stepping into them. I'm not the biggest fan of the conversation about the things that we want to do, but we don't do, especially when we actually have opportunities to do them. That frustrates me. So I feel like if I'm in conversation with people who say, I want to go to Hawaii, I want to ride a motorbike from point A to point B, I want to hot air ballooning, whatever it is, if I think that they have the ability to do so, I get frustrated about the talk.
Yeah.
So once again, am I making a judgment on somebody else's life, or am I just concerned that when we have the ability to do something, we're not leading a life of abundance, a life of fullness?
Yeah. Yeah, because that, there is something in that too, where we do presume to know what's happening in people's lives when we make those
Yeah.
judgments too. We can think that people are in a position that's maybe quite different to the reality of what they are in.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's sometimes easy to do when you think, well, why don't you just go to Hawaii, or why don't you just, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, that's right. So Claudia says the same thing, there can be a lot of reasons why people don't, and that's so true. And that's where, when I do find myself judging somebody else based on what I think that they have the ability to do, I can be completely wrong. I do know another person that actually died just a few years ago, the last couple of years, and he had a trike, like the one that we had, and he always wanted to travel on it. And in my mind, he could have done so. He had the finances, he had the time, he had the vehicle. But yeah, there may well have been other reasons why he felt that he couldn't, but he liked to talk about doing it. And so, yeah, I probably judged him unfairly.
And maybe that was enough. Maybe that was enough that he had the bike and he rode it around town, and he could dream about being in other places, but that actually wasn't.
Hello, Nadia. I was thinking about Nadia today, actually. I can't remember what, but I was when I was writing. Another person that we know that, and of all the people on the side of the screen and all the other people that are watching that haven't commented, etc., I want everybody to have a life of abundance.
Yeah,
I just want any opportunity that's open to anybody here that's a step in a direction where, there's joy and, all of those good fruits of the Spirit. But joy particularly, like I want people to live lives full of joy. Hi, Christy. Hello.
Hey, cool cats.
Speaking of life in abundance,
come on,
Christy Parker, traveling Australia, traveling the world. She's living the life, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a beautiful girl.
Seen her a couple of times in the last few months, once in the town where we live and then in another state.
I know.
In an airport in Sydney. She gets around.
So cool. I love it.
Life
I love it.
Abundance.
And, we were getting around at that time too.
Yeah.
So we too were jet setting with the ability to be able to be in Sydney and see her at the airport, and be in Victoria and see her in like in all of these cool places. So
enjoying life. I love that.
I love that. Enjoying. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. I've got my motorbike, and the fella that I bought it off, he actually, in the last year, he only rode 1,000 kilometers. I rode more than that in the first week, I think, that I got it off him. So, it's been amazing for me. I'm certainly enjoying the use of my motorbike.
I love it. And I love that. Just enjoy, enjoy, but enjoy. Like there's something really, really, it's almost like that turning in too. It's just that recognition of what already is, that when you can find yourself back in that place of going, oh, that's right, my cells like this place. My body feels better when I'm resonating with the frequency of joy. It feels far better to be there than it does to be in that place of frustration and stress and regret and difficulties, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I was thinking about that today, Kylie, whilst I was enjoying my motorbike ride back home. We've had some difficulties in the last few years where we've felt unable to go to places we wanted to, and lots of other things.
Yeah.
And we've had to learn during those times to be in joy as well, even in those times.
Yeah.
So that is actually a choice that you can make.
Yeah,
it is actually a possibility to actually be in joy in all circumstances.
Yeah.
So it's much easier for me to be joyful when I'm riding my motorbike than it is when I'm desiring to have one. But I did learn to be joyful about that as well.
Yeah, I feel like you really came full circle in a lot of ways, like in walking out that whole motorbike journey, is that you had already got to the place where you were joyful, and then your motorbike came. It didn't come, you weren't joyful when you got it. You were already joyful
Yeah,
when it came.
I actually got to the stage where I was riding motorbikes on YouTube almost every afternoon and nights at home, to the point where I actually started to believe that if I never physically got one, that would just have to be okay, that I could just experience them on YouTube. And in my sleep as well, I was riding them, I was picturing them, I was hearing them. I could smell my motorbike that I was going to get. And I've got one. And now we've got 3 at our house.
It's just crazy. You see, that's the overflow, honey. That's the overflow.
Yeah. I am very grateful for my existence. I'm very grateful for my life in completeness, like in every way. And I was talking to somebody today in a town that was, let's just say, about 500 kilometres from where we live now. And the strange thing was that this man I've met before and he didn't know. I've met him in another town about 5 years ago. And he was talking to me not knowing that we've had a conversation in the past. And I knew. And it was really interesting to talk to him and hear his version of events from the past and his relatives, etc. There's a lot of things that I processed afterwards about living in the moment and not being judgmental of this man who I knew about beforehand, but just appreciating and living in the joy of the moment and accepting him and loving him for who he was in that moment, and not bringing any judgment from the past of having known him into the present right now.
Yeah.
So it was really amazing to meet him by chance. And he was actually asking me where I was going today. And I didn't really know at that time. I just felt like I was heading east and maybe north, but not south and not west. So I had a bit of an idea. And I told him so. And he said, what do you do for work? And it's really complicated for me to explain that. So I forget what I told him. I think I told him that I don't work. And I guess, like, whilst ever you're doing stuff that you enjoy doing, it's not work. So it's kind of true, but I just didn't feel like going through it all. And I just changed what I said then to just tell him that I am completely grateful for my life in every way. So I didn't have to go through the process of telling him what I do and what I don't do. But the truth is that I'm grateful for everything, for my motorbike, for my wife, for my kids, for my life, for my parents, for my in-laws, for all the people that I've visited in the last couple of weeks. It's just an amazing ride. And I want more. I know there is more. I know that my life is a life of abundance and always has been, and it's only going to continue that way. And I want that for everyone else too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Meiser Eckhart, he said he's like a Dominican monk.
Who?
Meiser Eckhart.
You can't just make up names, Kylie.
It's real. It's a real name.
Okay.
He spoke of the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Spirit in this beautiful passage. And I love how he says this. The Father laughs at the Son, and the Son at the Father. And the laughing brings forth pleasure, and the pleasure brings forth joy, and the joy brings forth love. And I was just thinking of that when you were talking about, just being grateful for like your life, being grateful for your wife, being grateful for your kids. Like, it's just like, whoa, I love that. The laughing brings forth pleasure, and the pleasure brings forth joy, and the joy brings forth love. It's like that pleasure, that joy, it's like this gateway. It taps open something within us and allows that love to become ours. You know, it's like, because it's one thing to know that you're loved, like it's as a fact, but it's another thing to experience that as a feeling or as an essence, as a frequency.
I was talking to somebody else who I think's watching on one of our other screens who hasn't commented, so I won't mention their name, just yesterday. And I was thinking about it again today. When you talk about the world and the current state of the world, whatever you think that is, depending on what you watch and what you're into watching, I think that the answer for everything is love, So when you talk about wars, the answer to finishing war is love. The answer to feeding every person in the world is love. The answer to, everything that's, state of disrepair or unevenness, the answer for everything is love. That sort of just wipes out everything else. So,
Yeah.
Some people have some money, some people have a lot, some people have none.
Yeah.
And you talk about how to make these problems go away or not be a problem anymore. The answer is love. There's no point in distributing money to every person on the planet the same amounts, because there's going to be someone who has a method of getting more. Unless love's involved. So love is the answer. And then I was thinking, I think a lot, obviously, when I'm riding my motorbike. That's why it's good to have motorbikes, Kylie. And I was thinking about the term, this is a bit rude, by the way, for anybody. I'll just give you a warning, an adult warning is coming up. I'll just give like 10 seconds for people to jump off or cover their ears, or if there's children around. So I was thinking about the term making love. And is that because the result of that can be a little baby that's like a little love package?
Yeah, I don't know.
A little human. It's pretty hard not to love a new little human.
A little tiny
perfect
person.
Package comes out into the world to experience the world.
And maybe too, it's like the essence of what happens in that physical interaction as well, is that you're also like love in action with your person.
Oh, it got a little bit mature there. Let's just go back to happy hour.
We talk about all the stuff on happy hour.
We do. Oh, there's a smiley face somebody's chucked up on the screen, so it must have been okay. So is there anything else anybody would like us to cover tonight? Otherwise, happy hour, what we're doing right now, is actually every Monday night at 8 o'clock Sydney time, and it's pretty lighthearted. We will talk about anything that you want us to talk about, like if there's a subject you want to, in line of real conversations about mystical things, so the supernatural world, the spirit realms, those kind of things. That's our interest. So we'll certainly talk about that at length, day and night, and we do. But this happy hour, it's pretty it's pretty easy going. It's pretty friendly. It's not too serious. It's not sort of too focused on any one subject. It's a lighthearted attempt just to have a conversation with you. And if you're interested in further, more in-depth conversation about, seeing in the spirit realm, those sorts of conversations, then there is ways that you can talk to us outside of this. And you just go to wildfiretribe.life would be the easiest way to find us. And then we can sort of be more specific if that's what you want to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, because really we are a tribe of people that are just on our own adventurous journeys with God, and whatever that looks like for each individual person, because we know we've had like probably 10 years now where we haven't been a part of a church community that we go to all the time, but in this last 10 years we have been a part of hundreds of different communities online. We've also visited numerous, I can't even count how many churches, spent time with beautiful pastors all over the country.
Kicked out of them.
Yeah, I don't think
No,
so.
We've never
It's
been kicked
not.
out of a church yet.
Yeah, because we love the body as a whole,
Yeah.
and I think we're called in this place of love to love our body
Yeah.
because it is like I was sharing with that Luke Agee quote before, like this is this beautiful temple and we host the presence of God in us. And then we interact with one another in all of these beautiful expressions of community. And that is the glory of that. Some people love to host that in big buildings and some people love to host it in their lounge rooms. Some people love to host online and some people, there's just this desire, or some people like have just gather in cafes or whatever it happens to be. And each one of those is no less or no greater than the other. It's just that each one of us is called to hang out with people in different ways. And I think that moving forward, if we're not going to be in any kind of boxes, then we need to make sure that all of the other boxes, we don't see them as boxes. We just see them as beautiful expression of all the different kinds of things.
Why don't you read that, Kylie? And
What does
answer
that say? What do you think the latter glory will look like in this present day? Oh, boom.
We'll just say good night to Roseanne. Good night, beloved.
Yay, good night, Roseanne.
Good night, Roseanne. Thank you
And
for being
Claudia,
on.
good night, Claudia.
Thank you for listening and participating in the show. We'll go back to Christy's question there. What do you think the latter glory will look like in this present day, or will look like?
What do you think, honey?
Or can look like, does look like? I am full of questions. I don't have many answers. I don't know of anybody that I've spoken to in the last couple of years who actually has an answer for that. I know that we've had lots of conversations along those lines, different opinions, and there's lots of people who are just the same, where it's just like, I don't know. Nobody seems to have the answer. I think part of the answer is, and it's pretty obvious, is nothing that's ever happened before. And so whilst ever we look to the future and, want something more full, something, whatever it is we're framing up for the future, we're not taking anything from the past into it. It's almost like everything has to change. So that's not a very good answer. But you do we? Yes.
I feel like too, it's one of those places that we, as we're going from glory to glory, like we're always moving into another space of glory, which if we're engaging with everything within ourselves and all of everything around, so we're we've come into that place where we know who we are, and then out of that place we're resonating that frequency of love, that transformational zone around us is actually impacting all of creation. And as more of us are coming into that frequency that is higher in that space of like, we know we can make a difference in our little pieces of the world. We know that if we speak the right language, if we come into all of the spaces that we're moving in and out of, like you were saying, not in that place of judgment where we're coming in to make some kind of a judgment about why people are or aren't doing the things that they are, but we're coming as an expression of love, then that opens up people's potential. It opens up people's like their ability to be able to see possibility that is lying in front of us, and an opportunity and all of those kind of things where you can't, outside of that frequency of love and that frequency of transformation, that frequency that brings everything into the realm of actually this really can happen. Like we actually can see a world coming in front of us that's far better than the one that we have right here, and is already right here far better than the one that there was 100 years ago. So I think it's exciting. And like you were saying, how can we have specific answers? But the possibilities are infinite.
Christy says lots of dreaming, back to the dream time creation where anything is possible. And that's, That is absolutely true for me. That's where I'm
Mm.
living in it, that anything is possible,
Yeah.
which means that nothing is impossible, like anything
Yeah.
at all. So as
Mm.
I'm sort of, and just personally for me, I'm not trying to build something around me or, get followers to follow me into wherever it is that I'm going. I'm just walking out a very personal experience of life with God and trying to figure it out with Him one-on-one. And for me right now, I do believe that anything is possible, and I don't have many answers because I feel like He is showing me a lot personally every day, and I feel like I must be in a season of um, no real big vision, like I actually don't know where it is that I'm going. I don't have a plan so far as building something. I didn't even know I was going to be here today. Like I just rode my motorbike until I ended up here because it just felt like the right place to end up. So tomorrow, I don't know what I'm doing. I do know that I'm in constant union with God at all times, and I just work it out moment by moment. Is that my forever? I don't know. I mean, it will be forever that I am in constant union with Him, but will I ever have any idea of what I'm doing? I don't know. I can't say that. I think that life has seasons. I believe that there is different times in your life where you do different things. So maybe just for me personally, I'm just trying to figure out a lot of different things. And I think for me personally, I'm really on an adventure with God of refining my character in a lot of ways. So it's there's some difficulties doing that as well. When you sort of expose yourself to Him and say, change me, do whatever you want with me and all that kind of stuff, you find yourself going through times of difficulty where He's shaping your character and He's really getting you to, like I was talking about before with being judgmental, like ironing those things out, processing my thoughts around those things so that moving forward, hopefully in general, I'm just a more refined character. So that's where I'm at.
You are quite refined, honey. You're even refining your fashion sense. Looking like so handsome there.
I've got my girly glasses on. These are your glasses, aren't they?
Oh, I love it. Well, with all of that said, I'm not like that. I do have a plan. I do have a very big generational vision.
I didn't talk about us.
No.
I talked about me.
Yeah, and now I'm talking about me. Yeah.
So long as people watching this also understand that even though we're a married couple and have been married for 29 years, we have different brains.
Yeah, that's right. And when Sean talks about all this floating around, that is not me.
No,
I am
me.
Not that person.
No. Now you talk about you because God created us uniquely, including in a marriage.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I have a lot of vision for the future, and I have a lot of things that I see us doing, partnering in, creating, building, all of those kind of things. And so it's interesting, like walking this out together when you're quite in the moment. But what I can do is I actually can cope with in the moment strange things that come out of nowhere. I can kind of run with that quite well, whether you're a little bit different, aren't you? So it's quite funny, like the different personalities, like of how all of that runs. But yeah, I'm excited for what Wildfire Tribe is doing and what we're going to be doing next year.
I don't even know what this is.
Yes, you do.
So why don't you tell those people there, because I don't know what I'm doing. Does anybody out there know what we're doing?
Oh, gosh. I'm just tired of explaining it to you, honey. Must be
Explain
time to
it
go.
to those people, and then maybe they'll know, and maybe they'll be able to tell me.
Yeah. Well, we are a creative arts and media hub.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
We do video, we do podcasts, we do artwork. You've written a book with musicians. I know all of that stuff.
Mm. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're joy spreaders.
Yes, we're spreading joy. Yes.
We talk on microphones
Yeah, we
sometimes.
do.
We wear
Yeah.
pink suits and
Yeah.
green shirts.
Yes. And we are going to be doing some cool stuff next year, which is going to be
Right.
great. Yeah.
So to find out more about that, Kylie, they'll go to wildfiretribe.life.
Jump on the website, guys.
See, even though I don't know what we're doing, I can
And
do
I think
that.
the beauty of it is that we're in December now, and what kind of has spurred me into this space of going, okay, like for a number of months now, we've been putting together what we're going to be doing next year. Like the 2024 is the year of more. Really, really exciting about the things that are going to be happening. But we've come out of it probably for a lot of people, I feel like a really deep saturation in new understanding and in revelation, in concepts in our world where we're going, hold on a sec, what is going on? Like, oh my goodness, I didn't see it like that. Wow. Like if you're a person that reads the Bible, you're seeing the Bible in different ways. You're thinking about your relationship with God and with the people in your life in different ways now than you ever have thought about them before. And I think the difficult part when we have this overload of knowledge is that at what point in time do some of these things that we just love become activated in our life? So next year we're wanting to, next year we are launching a year of transformation course, which is going to be really exciting because we're going to just be walking with people month by month through the activating part of the revelations that we're coming into all the time. So how do we actually
I like that.
turn this into something wild? Yes, exactly. Learning how big our Father's house is. It is so true. You know, we live in this mansion with many rooms,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't even know that most people have ever gone into even a couple of those rooms. They don't understand the enormity of what is within them
Will I tell
already.
the people what you told me about the keys the other day, or should I wait?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's going to be one of the things
Should I
you're.
wait?
Yeah, maybe you can
You
talk
have
about
to
it
keep
next
on
week.
listening and watching to find out what God told me about keys and doors,
Ah,
etc.
it's going to be awesome. It's phenomenal. It was like a phenomenal download. And if any of you guys have been like really tapping in the last couple of weeks, there's been some crazy downloads that are coming out of the scroll rooms of heaven, like straight into people's lives. And if you've been like inundated with ideas and everything like that, like don't just be flippant about it. Like take note of what you're thinking, what things that are coming to you in that space of feeling energized by, wow, oh my goodness, this and this and this, because some of those things are actually to be activated for your 2024, like your year of more. Like this, there's a big door opening into this next year.
Take
and
notes,
it's going to be
keep
really
a journal,
exciting.
write things down in the middle of the night
Exactly. Yeah.
that he shares with you in the middle of the night. You do that, don't you, Kylie?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And I certainly don't journal as much as I did years ago. But because I feel like now I've almost like I do take a lot of notes still, but I used to journal everything. But now I feel like a lot of the revelation that I have is infused into my cellular makeup. So it's almost like, it's like now if I go to a conference or something like that, very, very rarely do I take a notebook. But I used to note everything, every service, everything that I ever went to, I would just, I've got, thousands of words journaled.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony. Yeah, and I would just but now like I just go in and activate the cells within my body to receive the revelation that the person is speaking about, so that I can actually sit in the fullness of the frequency of the words that they're releasing, so that it can become something really tangible in my physical realm, which is, that's where we're starting to see more and more things open up as we're activating a lot more of these things that we believe in our life. And sometimes that means taking steps into spaces that feel hard, doesn't it, babe? Like, I mean, laying down all of those things, letting go completely of all of that way that we used to do that, and maybe going on this path over here where we perhaps don't know as much about the technical side of what we're trying to do or something like that. But yeah, everything is growing. It's becoming more amazing. We've got like this cool studio now. We've got like a camera that it's not all fuzzy. And yeah, it's like things are improving. We're getting more professional.
But you're talking now you're talking about like physical stuff, aren't you? Like earthly stuff rather than spiritual or supernatural.
Because I don't see there being a separation when we're all in this place where we're understanding the fullness of it. It's not like, oh gosh, I really felt like that was amazing, that thing that I heard that person say, but then it stays in that place over there and it doesn't become tangible reality in our life. And that's what we're going to be walking through next year.
I was wondering today about whether I am seated in heavenly places trying to figure out how the world works.
Yeah, I dare say you possibly are.
Because being in the world and trying to figure out how it works is very confusing a lot of the time when you're stepping into heaven, having a look around there as well. I wonder if I'm actually looking at the earth from heaven.
I think you probably are, but I think the place that I've decided that I needed to come to in that was that I couldn't stop in that place where I was trying to figure out how the earth worked, because it's very draining and time consuming. It saps you of your energy when you're constantly needing an answer for why things are like they are. You know, like, why did that person react like that? Why does that person not notice? Why does that person do things like that? Why does that person not seem to, get it? Like, there's so many dysfunctional things in our earthly reality. But if we get fixated on the things that don't make any sense and the people that we just want to shake, then, that's taking away from that space of where we're actually becoming the transformational energy that we need to be. That frequency of wonder and life and hope and love and all of those things that when you're really finding yourself tapped in to that joyful place, like that happy place.
I just had to go back through the comments to find enjoying life.
Yeah, come on. That's it.
That's the comment of the night. Christy Parker, you've won the prize for the comment of the night. Do you have an address that we can send the prize to? She's on the road, isn't she?
I love it. Oh, she's on the road.
I think she is.
That's the only reason why you said that you're going to send a prize, because she has no fixed address.
Sorry about
teasing.
That. If you did have an actual house and you were located in one position, you would have won the prize, which we would have sent to you.
That's so funny.
It's like in a pub, speaking of happy hour, in a pub, happy hour is always not right now. It's tomorrow. It's another day.
Yeah.
It's just after you leave.
Yeah.
But not in this happy hour, Kylie.
No. What is the quote? Our happy hour quote that we...
Why limit happy hour to just 1 hour?
No. Why limit happy to an hour?
Well, why did you ask me?
Because when you said it, then I remembered it.
Righto. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for happy hour. It's been lovely to have you with us.
Thanks,
thank you
guys.
for the comments. Please continue to interact with Wildfire Tribe wherever you see it. On Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of those places, and help us get seen in other places and help elevate Wildfire Tribe so other people can see it and we can all enjoy the ride together.
Yeah, because we are about having real conversations about mystical things, and we want to encourage the wildness and the multidimensional enormity and reality in your life. And that it doesn't have to be weird and crazy and spooky and strange, but it can just be fun.
And if you want to get in contact with us, just message us on Facebook. It's probably the easiest way.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. We love you all. We thank you so much for interacting with us. Have a lovely evening.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Mwah.